Hello friends, welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be setting up our horizontal spreads for the next week in June. And I've got some mile liners here as well as some brush pens ready to go. Also this water brush pen that I may use, some washi tape, a free printable that I downloaded which we'll be using on label paper, and this sticker book which I'll pull from. This is the second week of the June Plannable Challenge, and this week's theme is Oodles of Doodles. So if you'd like to participate, go ahead and post your spreads up on Instagram using the hashtag PlannableJune2021. We'd love to see what you come up with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start measuring out the day boxes for my next part of this project, which is cutting down the label sheet I made. I downloaded this from the internet, which I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can find it if you want to use the same one. But it was just a free printable, which was perfect, and I had thought about using the individual items as stickers on their own, but just really did not want to bother with all of the effort that was going to take. So I decided to do something a little different. I did a kind of background idea, and then that way I could have all the doodles there without too much fuss trying to cut them out individually. So I'm using my guillotine cutter to actually cut them up into straight lines, and I'm just using my pencil there to mark exactly where the days fall instead of relying on the measurements, because sometimes that can be off a little bit on the guillotine when I try to line it up perfectly. So the pencil lines work better. And I just printed it straight onto like a big solid label sheet, in case you're wondering. I'll also link that down below so you guys can find it if you're interested in doing that. And now I'm going to go ahead and lay down some wax paper so I can get an idea of how this spread is going to lay out. So like I said, I've cut it into boxes to fit every other day, so I've got 4 there on the spread, and then I'll probably use some washi tape on the edges just to bring a little color in there. That washi tape is from the Happy Planner. It's a skinny washi. Just did a little sample there just to see how I would like it. Got a blue and a yellow toned one, which I think look pretty cute, kind of summer colors. And the theme of this doodle sheet was summer, so I think it works out pretty well, lots of summer items. And now I'm in the journaling sticker book and realize I need to have some day headers since the days are being covered up by the background. So I'm bringing those in, and I was going to just put them on the days where there is a background, but I think I just want it all to look consistent. So I'm going to bring in the other ones as well and just cover up the day headers from there. I also thought, well, maybe I should bring in numbers too, since they're not really labeled with numbers, but just didn't like the way that was looking, so I went ahead and put those back. It's not real important for me to have the numbers there on the sheet since I don't really do anything that is date specific. It's usually more day specific, so I should be fine without them, but I could always add them in later if I feel the need. So now I pulled in some large boxes from the journaling sticker book to add on top of the background, so I have some functional space for checklists. And I only had 3 of these, so I was trying to be strategic with where I was placing those backgrounds. I wanted to make sure that they were available for every day I needed them, and then I'm just going to use something else, I think, on the very last box, since that's the this week area, so for weekly checklists and what have you. And since I ended up using those headers with the specific font, I thought about the summer sticker book and how it has a bunch of quotes about summer in that same font. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in the summer sticker book and pull in a few of those quotes as added decor on the empty days. I'm also using focus boxes from the journaling sticker book and the smaller size on those emptier days so that everything kind of coordinates. Keeping everything pretty regimented as far as placement on the sheet. So the background areas always have the checklist box on the right hand side. On the non-background areas, I'm putting in the focus boxes on the left and the quotes on the right, just to keep things feeling a little bit ordered since there's a lot going on with that doodle background. I'd also like to have something for a focus box on the doodle background pages, but everything that I'm seeing in here is just a little too large. I'm not in love with the way it's looking, and I really like the doodles kind of being a main draw of the spread, so I'm just looking through the book to see if there's anything I think will work. I want to keep the feels consistent. I don't want it to be too different, but I'm going to see if there's anything maybe on the colorful boxes that, you know, might be able to pull in. It's not too bold, but when I tried the black, I was like, oh, that's too much. So we're just going to keep it pretty simple here, which honestly shouldn't be a problem because Saturday I really don't need a focus box. It's kind of my rest day. I don't really do too much on Saturday. And maybe Monday and Wednesday, if there's anything going on that I need to call attention to, I'll add a box maybe after the fact. Okay, so I think I've got a good idea of how this is going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and test out these brush pens and see if I want to do the watercolor look on the label paper. And I tried it and I just decided that it was going to be, I don't know, too much with the water. I think it would work fine as far as keeping the page dry using the label paper as a background, but I think it'll look just as cute if I just use markers instead. So that's why I had pulled the mild liners for that reason, in case I decided that the brush pens really just weren't going to work for me. And you might see me erasing some lines as we go through. I did sketch out a few things previously on this spread that I thought might work for this doodle theme, but ended up abandoning the idea. So I'm seeing some pencil marks still left over that I'm just kind of cleaning up as I go. I also decided to flip the colors of the washi tape so that the yellow's on the top and the blue's on the bottom, kind of more sun and sea. So I think that turned out a little bit better. I like that a little bit better. I also just cut up that quote that was a little too tall for the box and making it a little bit more streamlined so that I can fit it in the space. There is a lot of excess plastic clear sticker that I'm trimming off just so I can condense it a bit and not make it look too, I don't know, overlapped with sticker on sticker. And I'm just going to go ahead and lay it down. And that looks good. And basically I'm going to start moving everything over kind of exactly how it was on the wax paper. And I'm using my technique of only removing the backing of one section of the longer, large background label, just to make sure that I can get placement right before I commit to it, because sometimes when you do the whole sticker and you release it and it's big like that, if you get it crooked, it's so much harder to straighten it out. So just using a little corner the best you can and using that as your starting point and then releasing the rest of the sticker really helps get things straight and even the way that you intend. So I'm just moving those straight over right now and, like I said, aligning them. And I'm liking it already. I'm going to go ahead and move over the headers and the focus boxes for those other days. Also those quotes. And on this quote, I'm going to white out the background a little bit because it is too tall for the box, but I think it looks fine in this corner if I do that white out in the background. And I'm going to lay in that skinny washi again as a border on those background days. Just doing that. Okay, so that looks really cute. I'm really liking this already. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in my checklist, I think, and decide what colors I want on what days. And I think I'm going to use the yellow on the emptier days, and the blue on the background days. But I decided that the blue was not quite the right color to match up with the washi tape, and I'm pulling a different one that's a little more teal in tone. I think it matches better with the washi. So we're going to use those two colors and go ahead and also color in some of these doodle areas. I think just that added bit of color is going to elevate the fun of this spread. So I'm just going to go ahead and outline a few of the things and bring in color as I see it needs it. I decided to do this at the end instead of coloring it all in the beginning because, one, it cuts down on the amount of coloring I need to do since I'm not having to color the things that are covered. But also, two, it makes it easier for me to see what I need and varying out the colors between the different items. Since I have a limited color palette I'm working with, basically this teal color and the yellow, I want to make sure that I am spreading it around evenly on all of the items. And it's funny because I thought I was going to go ahead and doodle in by hand some things. Like I said, I mentioned before, I tried some things before I decided on this theme. And it is time consuming. I have to give props to those bullet journalers who do this every day, just, you know, hand drawing things and making their spreads so unique and individual each week. That is challenging. I do not have the patience for it. So this was a great way for me to get it done and also get those kind of hand done effects, even though I didn't really do anything, which is awesome. But yeah, so if you're like me, where either you're lazy or maybe just not that great at drawing, this is a great way to achieve a kind of hand done look without the extra effort. And just kind of picking and choosing what I think might look good in this yellow tone. It's really coming together, I think. Leaving a few things white just so it's not so overwhelming in color. I'm definitely getting beach vibes with this, so I know it's going to be a good week. It's very energetic feeling and, I don't know, just summery. I'm excited for this. And I think one last thing I'll do is actually outline the boxes where it's shadowed with the markers. And then once I am done with that, you guys, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye!